Hi, the video you're about to watch is a re-upload of an older video, meaning opinions shown are not truly reflective of current day thoughts, and the quality of said video does not reflect of what is made now. Please enjoy.
Oh, look at that. Welcome back. Today we embark on the third countdown of Undertale Month. There are many reasons to want to play Undertale, but Undertale's greatest aspect is character. Toby Fox went out of his way to give even the seemingly smallest character a unique personality of their own, from the tiniest frogget to the biggest Sunderplane, and it's amazing how effective it shows. I love every character in this game, and I'm sure while everyone will criticize my choices, allow me to show you my rankings. The only rule I have is no Frisk or Kara. Seems unfair to focus on the humans here. These are my favorite monsters the game has to offer. We'll be starting off small on this list. There are a lot of smaller characters throughout the Underground that could have made the 10th slot. The Temmies, that one cowboy rock at the beginning, no one likes Jerry. Though I'm in luck, because everyone loves Monster Kid. It's amazing how small a character can leave such a big impact with people. Monster Kid started out like just one of the normal NPCs, but it's when you spend more time with him in Waterfall that you truly appreciate him. He is just adorable. He's just a little kid who joins you in order to meet up with his hero, Undyne. And the entire time he doesn't realize he's with a human. But let's just gloss over that. This is a prime example of how even the small character has such personality. He's so small and innocent and full of wonder. He just gets so excited talking about Undyne. But to add to it, he's incredibly helpful and brave. He takes a hit from Undyne for you, helps you progress, but best of all, even tells off Undyne to protect you. I loved him from the start, but him taking a stand against his personal hero is just perfect, and is definitely what earned him his recognition. Take care, buddy. Also, try working on your footing. You wouldn't trip as much. Long live the king! It's funny, really. Not all, but a good chunk of video game big bads can be summarized by, "I wanna kill you. Blurg!" So it is unbelievably refreshing to see a character, let alone someone made out to be the main villain for a while, with such a heartbreaking and tragic backstory. After having hope robbed from him not once but twice, Asgore declares war on all of humanity. Which may be seen as something of a crazy, illogical decision, but honestly, can you blame him? Locked away and then his own child killed by the humans. Can't say his choices aren't out of reason. But the most important thing is that Asgore isn't really a bad guy. Hell, he's watering flowers when you meet him. We need to remember that he's the king of the Underground. Declaring war allowed to give him his citizens hope, something that was very lacking among his people. He's a gentle giant who cares about others. We hear all the way through our adventure of what a great, kind person he really is to everybody. He just knows what has to be done, even if he personally doesn't like his own decisions. And while all of this doesn't truly justify the murdering of 6 children, you can't help but try to empathize with him. He doesn't deserve what he gets. It's amazing how many characters I had to consider for this list. There were tons of guys I could have added on as honorable mentions. Grillby, Muffet, Gearson, Burger Pants. But there was one character who stole my heart right at the beginning. Similar to Monster Kid, Napstablook is a character that seems to start out small but ends up being a more prominent character than you would have expected. But unlike Monster Kid, Napstablook gets a little bit more attention than he would probably want. I just love this little ghost guy. It is really hard not to love him. Blukey is a nervous wreck most of the time, kind of like a character I may or may not be mentioning later. Being one of the only ghosts left in the whole underground leaves him all by his lonesome. But hey, at least we can go visit him. Listen to some tunes, eat some snacks, and... drugs? And hey, who doesn't enjoy a nice round of snail racing? But the reason I love this guy so much is that he's so pure and innocent. He's constantly worried about upsetting people, and that shows so much heart for such a little guy. And while he may cry an ocean's worth of tears, that won't be keeping me away. So, who wants to watch Mew Mew Kissy Cutie? It's odd to think about it, but of all the characters you come across, very few start out as friends. A pretty good chunk of them come out of the gate wanting to either kill you or capture you. So when I got to Act 4, I was pleasantly surprised to find a character who wants not to only be your friend, but guide you through the entire chapter. Not only that, but we got a character we can connect to as well as we can with Alphys. Out of all the characters in Undertale, Alphys is the one I think players can relate to the most. First of all, Alphys is in line to take the title of the biggest dork in a video game, currently neck and neck with Francis from Super Paper Mario. She's an anime-watching, robot-making, instant noodle-eating piece of trash. And I mean that in the best possible way. But she's also a bigger nervous wreck than Blukey. She is constantly afraid of her past and what others may think of her, constantly hiding behind lies that eat her up inside. She's surprisingly the most human-like monster in the underground. When you first meet her, she builds her confidence through you by setting up all these obstacles you come across in Hotland. And despite the fact that she deliberately put you in danger, I just like her too much to be mad at her. And it is so worth it to help her overcome her issues. This little lizard is worth having around. Whenever starting a new game, one of the most important factors is how you introduce your characters. For example, when you get introduced to your first ally in a game, they usually come out of buttfuck nowhere and become friends almost immediately. Very unrealistic, but sure, let's roll with it. Undertale does this too. Thankfully, the first friend you make is just absolutely motherly. Finally! I can finally express my love of Goat Mom. I have never grown to love a character as fast or as much as Toriel. Granted, at first you are on guard due to... but soon after, you can't help but grow attached to her. Toriel is such a loving figure who, just like Asgore, has been through so much heartache and pain. After losing her children and being sickened by her husband's actions, she fled to the ruins without looking back. There she remained with the new goal in mind, protect any human child from falling to the fate of her own. And sadly, constantly failing. And she tries so hard to keep this same from happening to you. When you fight her and check her stats, knows best for you. Manly tears, everyone. Manly tears. She is such a great person. The entire time when I played, all I could think was, I wonder what Toriel's doing. Probably hunting snails. Most likely eating them. Second verse, same as first. Nyah! That one was terrible. You know, I always thought that my friend Josh was the embodiment of the Animu. I'm so happy to be wrong. Undyne is unique, to say the least. She is all over the place. Sometimes she's kind and caring, then at other times she decides to randomly suplex a boulder, just because she can. And while her original opinion of you is more on the murdery side, Getting to know her allows you to connect with one of the most entertaining characters in the game, but also one of the more lovable ones. That aside from the pacifist run, we see some great traits of Undyne, like how she tries to stop you and kills herself in the process, willing to sacrifice herself just to help other monsters in the underground escape your wrath. God damn it, I love her. While she is super angsty more than half of the time, she is a kind, caring fish that'll do anything for her friends, willing to rush into battle, or even something as simple as give a little encouragement. It's great to see a character so diverse and enjoyable in every way. Undyne is great. She's caring, strong, hilarious, has a great design, and is just an all-around amazing character. Chances are, we'll never get one like this ever again. You only get one chance for a good first impression. An Undertale starting the game off with a seemingly harmless talking flower that tries to kill you in cold blood is a surprisingly good way to start as you mean to go on. And while Flowey is something of a prick, you can understand why. The once prince, now destroyed and then reincarnated without a soul, has since then lived a meaningless life. Before you arrived, Flowey was the one who had absolute control over the timeline in the underground. Flowey relived and relived the timeline dozens, possibly even hundreds of times as a creature without emotion. He tells us in the Genocide run that he has done everything under the sun. Or bedrock? Limestone? I don't know. So it's a little hard to blame him for the way he is, and while he may be the equivalent of a psychotic murderer, he also displays one of the most noble sacrifices in gaming history. At the end of the pacifist route, Flowey takes all the human souls, as well as the soul of every monster in the underground to change back into Azrael. In the process, he gains back his sanity, his heart, and most of all, his emotions. We can only speculate how long he has lived as Flowey without his heart. The ending has him breaking the barrier and returning everything back to normal, but at the cost of reverting back into Flowey, knowing fully well he will lose his ability to love and care for others. For such a small creature without a soul, he has a whole lot of heart. Miss Toriel, Kyle is cheating again? No. What, was I supposed to judge Sans and Papyrus separately? Yeah, right. These guys are the best brothers combo since Jumpman and Greenstash. Like hell I'm gonna separate them. These guys are the best. They practically qualify as this game's mascots. Even before I played the game, I saw their faces everywhere. Hell, you still see them in the promotions for the game, including the Switch port. Let's talk about Pap first. Hands down, the coolest character in the game. There are so many great characters in this game, and having a power-hungry skeleton who is essentially harmless in most of his actions is just perfect. It took about, 12 seconds before I fell head over heels for this guy. Must be the attraction slime. And every time I called him, I had a smile on my face. Sans, however, is a whole other stand-in. He's probably the funniest character in this game. He is such a troll throughout your adventure, but also knows how to be deadly serious, making him so much more of a complex character. I know I'm being a bit blunt, but that's because I plan to go into more detail about Sans in the next countdown. Wonder what that means.
Oh, yes!
Despite the fact that I called him Metallic Asshat earlier this month, Mettaton is one of the best goddamn things ever coded. And while he only takes up center stage during the last levels of the game, he eats it up like an annoying dog with a bone. And yeah, he is also one of the most self-absorbed coded things ever. But he has his great and selfless moments as well. For starters, he helped Alphys by antagonizing you. Okay, not the best example. What is a better example is when you fight him for the last battle. He reveals that while he was originally designed as a human killer robot, he has absolutely no desire to harm humans. In fact, it's quite the opposite. He doesn't discriminate from monster and human, he just loves to entertain others. I see part of myself in that. Even better, at the end of his fight, he chooses to put down his own dreams of entertaining the human world in order to keep everyone in the underground upbeat and happy. And of course, I have to make a final statement about his design. I mean, holy face steaks, that body! Seriously, talk about going from fuckable to You know, I decided to watch other countdowns of this topic just to see what others thought of this subject. And almost nobody speaks of this one character. Well, I say no more. It's about goddamn time that they got the spotlight shown on them for once. Ladies and gentlemen, Temmies, Froggets, and those who aren't either. My hands down, all-time favorite Undertale character. Surprised? You should be. What I love the most about Onion Behold, Undertale's greatest enigma, and one of the best designed characters to ever come out of any form of digital media, Dr. W.D. Gaster. I'm sure a lot of people might be looking at their screens with puzzled looks, and fair enough. Gaster's barely in the game, you might say, but that is what makes him so enticing. The once royal scientist turned into an omnipresent force that haunts the game's numbers and codes. A still unsolved mystery that keeps drawing players back to the game, even to this day. It is truly fascinating to know how well Gaster works in this game. Toby Fox went to town when designing how this guy was going to work, leaving breadcrumbs in even the smallest places to tell an incredible backstory for a phantom. And while he mostly is up to interpretation, every form of him shows off his badass design. Most of all is the constant air of mystery and disturb he gives off whenever he is talked about. Whether he is friend or foe, one thing is certain. He is a man who will not be forgotten by us anytime soon. We're now over halfway through. I'll see you next time.